All right, y'all, you got your shiny pre-approval letter. Now, what do we do next? My name is Tatiana, your favorite Houston realtor, and I'm here to be your accountability partner, but also make sure we do not fumble this bag. And I'm gonna make sure I give you first 3 things not to do after being pre-approved, and then letting you know what we should do, because I wanna make sure that your home buying process is seamless, stress-free, and on the right route. So let's get into it. So now we got our pre-approval, and we're not going to do a spending spree. What I mean is we're not opening up new lines of credit. We're not buying furniture. We're not maxing out our credit cards. We are not doing anything that we do not need to be doing. We want to make sure we are getting everything we need, right? Food, gas, just the essentials. Everything else can wait. Excuse me? Yes, everything else can wait. There's nothing worse than losing about 12 points on your credit score because you wanted a Sephora run or a last minute vacation. If it don't fit in the shopping cart, leave it behind. Trust me, I'm here to help. Number 2, you do not want to switch jobs without advising your lender. This is super important. A lot of times I'll have a lot of clients or people think like I'm getting a better job with a raise, but sometimes changing things last minute during the underwriting process can cause delays and can create certain issues. So I would say stay where you're at unless you've spoken to your lender and they're aware and you guys have a game plan. Number 3, do not go ghost on your lender or your realtor. I know sometimes things happen, and it's really good to communicate that with your lender and your realtor instead of just ghosting them, because during this process, there's going to be multiple times when your lender is going to ask for documents, and sometimes even the same documents 3-4 times. I'm not judging, no shade or tea. I'm just saying, but there's going to be times in the process that they're going to ask for those pay stubs again. Underwriting is going to require for those documents to be submitted quickly. They want to make sure you're performing. They want to make sure, and when I say performing, meaning if I'm asking you for something, I am getting it. So you want to make sure you're performing. Nothing kills a deal faster than people who act like they're in the witness protection plan and cannot talk. We need to know all the information and insight, and we have to ensure that if there is anything that needs to be revised, rechecked, that we can find you and communicate and get the documents that we need to ensure that we're able to satisfy this file. Fast responses equal smoother closings. Sorry. So now that you know what not to do, let's jump into the things that we should be doing to make sure that your closing is seamless and it is stress-free. I cannot reiterate that enough because it is a huge process. And I always tell my clients my job is to make it as less stressful and seamless as possible. This is a big process. I know it sounds more cliche if anything, but there is ways to make it smooth and less stressful. So let's get into it. First, you want to set your home criteria. What are things that are non-negotiables, things that you're willing to work on? And maybe like, what is like the highest mortgage payment that you're willing to pay? Because here's the thing. Here is the catch. The gag is your lender is going to pre-approve you. Let's say your lender pre-approves you for $380,000. That does not mean that you have to find a house at $380,000. I think a very important conversation that we miss sometimes with our lenders is advising them, like, what is the highest you're willing to pay monthly on a mortgage? That includes taxes, interest, principal. Obviously, we want to make sure that we are buying a house within budget and we're not going home broke. That is so important. Now, the next thing, you want to start scheduling tours and have a good schedule that fits your needs. And if your schedule switched up weekly, then that's a good conversation to have with your realtor, so she or he is aware of how to schedule your tours. Now, locking in incentives is such a good thing to be aware of when you're shopping for homes. Many new constructions have incentives. So you want to make sure you're locking in those incentives and what that looks like. So those are really good questions that you can ask your realtor, or ensure that your realtor is asking builders so you guys are getting those incentives. Because, I mean, who doesn't like a deal? I love a deal, honey, please. So definitely look into incentives. Sometimes sellers are offering incentives now as well. And if you guys don't know, now you know it is a buyer's market. So sellers are getting very crafty and very creative to ensure that their listing pops out. So make sure you're asking those questions, or make sure you have a realtor like myself who loves a great deal and loves how to have a bargain and negotiate. Nothing is set in stone in real estate. Everything is negotiable. Just saying. Understanding your contract. So if you have questions, when in doubt, ask. You have a realtor. Their job is to ensure that they are doing their due diligence in reading that contract and explaining it to you. It's okay to not understand certain things. That's why you have a professional who's there to assist you. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Not asking the question is a dumb thing. Ask the question. So you want to make sure you're budgeting not only for the down payment, but there's other things to budget. You're going to have to budget your earnest money, your option fee, and of course, if you're going to have an inspector come out there or specialist after this inspector has got their findings, and you want maybe a plumber, an electrician to come out to look at the things that was flagged by the inspectors. Let's budget, let's save, and let's make sure we know what we're getting into. Now that we going over all the things, the do's and don'ts of getting your pre-approval, make sure you guys take the time to subscribe, like, comment, and if you guys have any questions or concerns, make sure you comment below. I do love when you guys subscribe, but I absolutely love when you guys interact, comment, and like, so I know what I'm doing is helping you during your process. And if you did not get to see my episode last week, go ahead and watch it, because I'm teaching you guys the 3 top things that first-time home buyers should avoid when trying to shop for their first-time home, because this is a process. And my goal is to be your accountability partner, but also help you through the process. And if you're looking to buy, invest, or sell in the Houston area, make sure you contact me. Not only am I the best, but it's me. Duh, I'm just kidding. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Ciao.